Oregon shooting at grocery store leaves 3 people dead, including gunman. Details of suspected gunman and his 2 victims were not immediately released in attack at a Safeway in Bend. This was written by Erum Salam, published on August 29th, 2022, for The Guardian. A shooting at a Safeway grocery store on Sunday night in Bend, Oregon, left 3 people dead, including the suspected attacker, reigniting pleas from the public for government leaders to make or take more action against gun violence. Police in Bend said the shooter, whose name hasn't been released, came from a nearby residential area and began firing as he crossed through the Safeway parking lot. One person was shot near the entrance and died at the scene, police said. How many more supermarkets have to get shot up? How many more people have to lose their lives over senseless gun violence until Americans realize and wake up that the Second Amendment does not protect us? It does not create a safer democracy. It only causes more carnage and bloodshed. Should everybody just walk around with a weapon? Should we all walk around with guns to protect ourselves like we live in some anarchic post-apocalyptic dystopia? No, America should not be like this. But too many Americans are caught up in the lies and the bullshit that they've been fed all their lives, that the gun makes them safer, that we allow 524 mass shootings in 2022 alone. This is the 523rd mass shooting in 2022. We are close to reaching 1,000 mass shootings in 2022 in the United States of America, and most Americans do not care, as more and more Americans lose their lives or are injured by preventable gun violence. More and more people continue to say, this is what's normal. This is what's normal. But it's not normal. This does not happen in Canada. This does not happen in France. This does not happen in Germany. This does not happen in Italy. This doesn't even happen in China. A country with 1 billion people can have almost 0 mass shootings. Meanwhile, in the United States of America, with close to 400 million people, more than less than half of China's population, we can have 524 mass shootings in 2022. What does that say about our sick, depraved nation? Another was shot and killed inside the store, and police arrived to find the gunman dead in the store as well. Behind police spokeswoman Sheila Miller said one victim, a Safeway employee who was identified as Donald Ray Surrett Jr., 66, fought off the shooter in the produce aisle, possibly preventing more deaths. Miller said this is the Safeway employee who engaged with the shooter, which is to say he attempted to disarm the shooter and attack this person. We believe he prevented further deaths in addition to the quick police response. The other victim was Glenn Edward Bennett, 84. Police said they didn't fire any shots at the scene, including at the gunman, but they stopped short of immediately saying whether the gunman had died by suicide. They noted that he was near an assault-style rifle and a shotgun. Details of the gunman were not released other than the fact that he is a male. Residents in houses and apartments nearby described a horrifying scene to media outlets. They recounted hearing multiple gunshots, and one grocery store employee told reporters he did a walk in a refrigerator during the shooting. I'm just speculating. I'm not saying this is a fact, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but and once again, I don't think we should racialize or target a specific demographic of people as the perpetrators of mass shooters or the victims of mass shootings, because mass shootings are not just incidents like Tops, where a white supremacist walks into a supermarket and kills 10 black people, and mass shootings aren't just in the hood or in the trenches where people are just shooting each other over drugs and gang violence, and mass shootings aren't just when some guy goes and kills his wife, his brother, his mom, his sister, all in one day, or a school shooting as well. Mass shootings affect all Americans. All Americans are the victims and perpetrators of mass violence, especially mass shootings. But I will say it's possible, it sounds like it, possible that this could have been a terrorist attack, a white supremacist terrorist attack. It's not, I'm not saying that for sure. I'm just speculating. What if it possibly is? Because I wouldn't be surprised if Brenton Tarrant and Peyton Gentrin inspire more and more white supremacists to carry out those lone wolf, single person, mass deadly events. So this is possible that this is one of those events. And whether it is or not, I am just speculating, and I don't care whether that is the situation here. here or not. The fact of the situation is there was a mass shooting in a supermarket. More and more mass shootings will continue to happen in the United States until we as a society decide to change. Period. Period. There will be another Tops supermarket mass shooting. There will be another Uvalde. There will be another mass shooting like what happened in Las Vegas unless Americans change. This happens way too often. Two per day on average. All right, let me continue. This is a tweet from St. Charles Health. A team of St. Charles caregivers and physicians arrived at the hospital within minutes of the event to provide care for those injured. Ultimately, St. Charles Ben received two victims from the shooting. One was dead on arrival, and the other was reported in good condition. Authorities said they had not immediately determined the motive for the attack, which prompted local officials to call for making it more difficult to access high-powered weapons. Thank you. Somebody is speaking up about getting rid of the guns in America. In a press conference, Ben Police Chief Mike Krantz said, "We know that this is a frightening thing for our community and something that we would never want to happen in our city. We don't want it to happen, but we allow it to happen because Americans still believe that the gun culture keeps us safe. It does not." And for anybody who's going to come in the comments and say, well, criminals will get guns anyway. Yes, you're absolutely right. Criminals will get guns. There are criminals in other countries. There are criminals in every country across the world. But in America, our criminals have too easy of an access to weapons. We allow too many criminals to have too much access to weapons. There will always be people that will want to do bad things. But in the United States, you can get a gun illegally and legally. And for anybody who's going to say they got their gun illegally, all illegal guns were once purchased legally. Wake up. The Ben shooting comes a few months after another grocery store shooting in Buffalo in May left 10 black people dead. Racism motivated the white teen gunman in that attack, police have said. The summer saw more mass shootings, including in an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas in May that left 21 dead, and a 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois that killed 7. These are the ones that got mass media attention, not the ones I cover on my channel every day where 4 or more regular Americans are shot or killed. All of those shootings involve shooters who had legally obtained assault-style rifles, further dividing America's political left and right on whether to limit the right to bear arms mentioned by the U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment. The U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment does not guarantee the right to bear arms. It says that the government shall not infringe on the right to keep and maintain a militia. To keep and maintain a militia, a well-trained, well-organized militia. It has nothing to do with you walking around with shotguns in your car or pistols in your pocket. Let's stop. Let's stop. This is propaganda. You have been propagandized to by the NRA, which is the propaganda wing of the gun manufacturers and the bullet manufacturers who have an incentive to make you want to buy more guns, period. Because they can't make enough money. They're not satisfied with making billions of dollars selling weapons to the United States government. They're only satisfied when they can make billions of more dollars by selling more and more weapons to Americans. Weapons that should be used in war when we go and bomb Somali children or Yemeni children across the world. They are only happy when they can make even more money on American children dying in schools or Americans dying in supermarkets or in churches or every day in the streets. Please, get the fuck out of here, bro. Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley, a Democrat, said last night there was a horrific shooting in Bend. People were just going about their lives before they were killed. My heart broke for their loved ones. This is not normal. Assault weapons and high-capacity magazines should never be on the streets in the first place. We need Democrats, Republicans, rural folks to urban folks and responsible gun owners to all come together and put an end to gun violence in our communities. Enough with this madness. Abolish the Second Amendment. That's not his quote, but that's my quote. And I'll talk for you, Jeff Merkley, because too many Democrats and people on the left are scared in the U.S. to say enough is enough with the violence. We need to change the mindset, change the culture, and abolish the Second Amendment because too many Americans will continue to die and have died from preventable gun violence. Oregon Senator Ron Wyden, also a Democrat, echoed Merkley's response. The Oregonians who went to shop or to work at the Bend Shopping Center where last night's mass shooting happened need our thoughts and actions. Americans cannot just shrug its shoulders. Too many Americans will shrug their shoulders, unfortunately, but we can change that. Wyden acknowledged that Congress this summer passed legislation which would toughen background checks for the youngest gun buyers, keep firearms from more domestic violence offenders, and help states supplemented red flag laws that are supposed to make it easier for authorities to take weapons from people adjudged to be dangerous. But he said it was only a small step. There are many more steps ahead before our country actually addresses the gun violence epidemic devastating communities like Bend today and far too many communities before this, Wyden added. I'm willing to work with anybody who's sick and tired of mass shootings to find solutions that put an end to this gun violence madness once and for all. And that's the end of the article. And unfortunately, even though this tragedy reached across the pond to the UK, and this tragedy seemed to get more attention, I don't know why, because there were higher body count mass shootings that happened, like the one in Houston I covered yesterday, or the one in Detroit where a random person was running around, right? This one seems to have garnered some attention. I guess it's because of the similarities to the Tops mass shooting. But regardless, we need to pay more attention to mass shootings in the U.S. We need to advocate for change. We need to abolish the Second Amendment and make this country safer. 523 mass shootings in 2022 alone. And that's just mass shootings. Those aren't the shootings where only 2 people got shot, where somebody went purposefully to kill 1 person. There are too many shootings. We allow it to happen because too many guns permeate in our society. There are too many suicides and accidental homicides. Make it stop. Make it stop. This does not happen in any other country around the world at the frequency it does in the United States. This is an embarrassment. My name is Simon Hill. Thank you for watching.